Hey guys, Horror Lorekeeper here. Today we're unpacking one of the bleakest, most complicated bonds in the franchise, Michael Afton's twisted relationship with William Afton. We're going to walk through what these two look like across their forms, how they behave when the story forces them into the same room, the timeline that welds son to father from the house era to the final burn, and the biggest theories about whether Michael's crusade is loyalty, revenge, or something in between. We'll hit appearance, behavior, story, and theory. So sit back, relax, and let's dive back into the world of FNAF. First, let's put this in the right corner of the universe. This relationship lives across three main zones: the Afton home in the Bite era memories, the sister location underground facility where orders become obedience and obedience becomes a trap, and the pizzeria simulator site that's secretly a crematorium for ghosts. If we were to tour it, the house is cramped hallways and a bedroom door that never quite shuts. Sister location is an elevator that exhales cold air, a private room humming with false comfort, and a scooping room that looks like an operating theater built by a carnival. Pizzeria simulator is cheerful vinyl floors on top and, below, salvage chairs bolted to concrete, vents that breathe, sprinklers that won't save anyone. That's the geography of a father and son who only speak clearly when the lights are off. Before the psychology, let's see them the way the games show them. Michael appears in two bodies: the older brother silhouette, lanky and humanoid, foxy mask dangling, laughter that curdles, and the undead penitent from Sister Location's ending, skin darkened and purpling, eyes sunken, clothes hanging wrong on a hollowed frame, expressionless but unsettling. He looks like a person who kept going after the story said stop. William, by contrast, has three faces. There's the businesslike dad inventor, neat and forgettable. There's the purple guy sprite, elongated, simplified, a stick figure with intent. And there's Springtrap Scrap Trap, scorched, torn, human rot braided into a suit, lanky and inhuman, mangled and nightmarish, a mouth that's always slightly open like it's about to lie again. When we walk these models in our heads, we notice a visual rhyme. Father and son both end up purple, both end up wrong. But one is purple because he chose atrocity, and the other is purple because he chose to carry it. Function and behavior. When do we encounter the relationship itself? In FNAF terms, it triggers whenever the plot asks, who cleans up Afton's mess? Early on, the dynamic is classic abusive family logic. William issues an order, the son follows. In Sister Location, Michael descends on his father's say-so, go find your sister, and the facility's procedures turn obedience into a death sentence. Later, in Pizzeria Simulator, the dynamic flips. Michael moves on his mission to help Henry lure William and the haunted suits into the fire. William still threatens through systems, animatronics, tapes, the spring-lock suit, but Michael threatens back by becoming the person who will voluntarily stand in the blast radius until the screaming stops. Both men have phases, like animatronics ramping up from basic to late game. Michael's phase is basic, the bully brother, careless, mocking, using fear for a laugh. Mid, the obedient son, takes orders, believes fixing dad's problem will heal the family. Late, the undead penitent, scooped, purple, purposeful, no longer dad's tool, now the custodian of everyone else's peace. William's phases: basic, human killer behind the mascot mask, organized, calculating, charming enough to be ignored. Mid, experimenter with remnant and possession, a god complex in a lab coat. Late, Springtrap Scrap Trap, a corpse with persistence. If he can't control the living world, he'll infest the ruins. Lore connection time. This relationship threads through the pillars: missing children, possession, remnant, old locations reused, and the abuse cycle. The most accepted reading puts Michael at the Bite era scene as the older brother whose prank becomes catastrophe. From there, he grows up orbiting William, the man who teaches love as obedience and secrets as safety. It has been theorized that the security logbook style notes are Michael trying to untangle that childhood. Who am I? Who died because of me? What do I owe? The canon is deliberately foggy, but the pattern is not. William creates the problem. Michael becomes the person who can't stop cleaning it. Let's walk the story like a narrated playthrough. Set up to final confrontation. The house and the rule book no one reads. We start with a home that looks normal until you listen. We can hear the TV, a birthday jingle drifting down the hall, a door's rubber seal pressed thin by small hands. We can see the foxy mask, the wheedling older brother, the child who cries because something is wrong with the fun place Dad built. William hovers like gravity, the center you can't see but always feel. In this ordinary world, Michael learns 2 lessons. Fear is funny, and Dad's rules are absolute. The first betrayal. Elizabeth dies because of Baby, an animatronic designed by Afton's shop. Whether William warned her away as a father or as a scientist, the result is the same. The machine eats his daughter, and the family is a tomb. Michael's role shifts from agent of mischief to agent of repair. If the popular reading is right, Survivor's guilt colonizes his head. He can't bring his brother back. Maybe he can find his sister. He hears Dad's order and chooses to believe it's a way to make things right. Crossing the threshold, Sister Location's elevator. With all of that out of the way, Michael descends. The facility is William's worldview etched in stainless steel. Everything compartmentalized, everything procedural, everything smiling while it hurts you. Baby speaks like a caretaker because that's how control sounded at home. Do as I say, I will keep you safe. Michael obeys. He does the tasks. The room's open. The scooping room is the punchline. Obedience was the ritual. William's ecosystem consumes another Afton and calls it maintenance, or deal. The scooping and the speech. Ennard wears Michael like a stolen suit and leaves him to rot. He gets up anyway. This is the split screen moment where the relationship curdles into a vow. Michael's ending monologue, I put her back together. I'm going to come find you, isn't just a threat, it's a diagnosis. He finally sees what William is and what he himself has become. Purple like his father, but pointed in the opposite direction. The road back, hunting the past. From here, Michael follows the Fazbear Trail the way a player follows audio cues. Old sights, old mascots, old mistakes. He becomes the animatronic the brand can't shake. The human that returns every night. When Pizzeria Simulator sets the trap, Michael takes the job that isn't a job. He sits in the cheerful office and listens to the salvage tapes because he understands them on a level we never will. Every hiss and flutter is a family sound. Final confrontation, the burn. Henry's speech is parental in the way William never was. Firm, protective, final. It names William for what he is. It names the children for who they were. And it names the building for what it will be. A furnace. Michael's place in that scene is the hardest line in his story. He stays. He accepts a fate that rhymes with his father's, death and fire. But for the opposite reason. Where William burns because he refused to let go, Michael burns because he finally does. Before we move on, mini profiles of the encounters that define the bond. Appearance, role, threat. William, human, tidy, blank, ordinary, and predatory. Role, father, boss, designer of rooms where kids disappear. Threat, social camouflage. Issues orders that sound like help. Springtrap, mangled and nightmarish, flesh stitched to suit. Role, the persistence of his will. A walking, you can't get rid of me. Threat, proximity. Every room he enters becomes the old back room. Michael, pre-sister location. Lanky teen, smirking and insecure. Role, schoolyard tyrant in a house shaped by a bigger tyrant. Threat, thoughtlessness. Michael, post-scooping. Expressionless but unsettling, purple and purposeful. Role, custodian of the dead, the last adult in the room. Threat to William, inevitability. So what's the psychology under all this? Trauma, bond, codependency. Michael keeps doing William's errands because that's how he learned love works. Do what dad wants to stop the house from getting worse. In abusive families, a child often becomes the fixer, managing crises to keep the peace. Sister location is the purest form of this. Michael trusts the system because the system wears his father's voice. Identification and inversion both end up purple, both end up trapped in machines. But where William identifies with the predator and doubles down, Michael inverts it. He accepts the monstrous body and weaponizes it against the source of the horror. Same shape, opposite vector. Atonement versus grandiosity. William's side of the bond is narcissistic grandiosity. He treats people as parts and tries to outwit death with remnant and suits. Michael's side is atonement. He treats his own life as a resource to buy other people peace. One says, I deserve to live forever. The other says, I don't deserve to stop until this is over. Intergenerational infection. It has been theorized, and the logbook vibes support it, that Michael's memory and identity are fractured. He's not sure which boy he is in those old minigame rooms. That's trauma. William's sins don't just haunt animatronics, they haunt the way his son understands himself. The relationship is the virus. The burn is the cure. This brings us to the final and perhaps most important part. So what does this all mean for Michael Afton's twisted relationship with William? Likeliest reading: Michael is the franchise's living penance, and William is the inexhaustible offense. Their relationship is not a conversation, it's a closed system where one creates horror and the other absorbs it until the machine breaks. Michael's "I'm going to come find you" is both a son's last message and a hunter's promise. He isn't trying to win his father back. He's trying to find the man behind every ruin and turn the light off. Alternative fan reading: Michael never fully escapes William's frame. He's still playing the role William scripted, the useful son who goes where he's told. In this view, even the final burn is a play written by other men, Henry and William, and Michael is just the best actor. He's a tragic instrument, not a free agent. Admirable, but still trapped in his father's narrative until the building collapses. Let's separate what's on firmer ground from what we infer. Supported by sister location, Michael is sent underground, manipulated by baby Ennard, scooped, and survives to deliver a direct address promising to come find someone, overwhelmingly read as William. Supported by Pizzeria Simulator, Michael participates in a designed gather and burn ritual, with Henry's narration condemning William and freeing the trapped souls. Michael is not shown escaping, strongly suggested by series tone logbook debates. Michael is working through guilt and identity tied to the house tragedies. Inferred: Michael was the Bite-era older brother. The relationship is defined by a trauma bond that only breaks in fire. Michael's late game actions are entirely self-directed revenge atonement rather than lingering obedience. And that's the awful poetry of it. William builds hell and hides inside it. Michael learns the layout and burns it down. William refuses to die because he can't imagine a world without himself. Michael refuses to rest because he can't imagine a world where those kids don't get a last word. Same color, same corridors, opposite hearts. Alright, that's our breakdown of Michael Afton's twisted relationship with William Afton. The appearances that mirror like a curse, the behaviors that activate when the lights cut out, the playthrough from house to elevator to fire, and the theories that explain why one man keeps making monsters and the other keeps walking into their mouths. If you enjoyed this breakdown, remember to leave a like, comment down below with what you want to see next, and of course subscribe to Horror Lorekeeper for more FNAF and horror content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.